Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's signature of over 11 million euro worth EU projects providing social protection to vulnerable groups during the COVID-19 pandemic in Kosovo. The signature will be done by Ambassador Tomáš Szunyog, head of the EU office in Kosovo and EU special representative, together with representatives of our partner organizations, implementing partners, UNDP, Save the Children, and IOM. We are also happy to welcome representative from the Ministry of Labor and Social Welfare in Kosovo. Without much ado, I would ask Ambassador Szunyog to deliver introductory remarks, and then also a representative of implementing partners and the ministry, and after that we will have the signature ceremony. Ambassador.
Thank you, Dinka. Dear representatives of Kosovo government, partners, dear citizens of Kosovo. First of all, I would like to wish you all a Happy New Year. I certainly hope that this year would be better than the last one. Today we announce the launch of the important program which will contribute to foster solidarity and social cohesion in our communities, so deeply shaken by the dramatic effects of the pandemic and its impact on people's life. The pandemic has created a sense of isolation in all of us, destabilizing our social life, changing our relations, causing mental and physical distress like never before. The social distancing measures are also leading to an increase of intolerance and frustration, resulting in episodes of domestic violence. Beyond poverty, those who are paying the highest price are children, people with disabilities, and women, whose already difficult living conditions have worsened as a direct effect of the pandemic. We have clearly experienced solidarity within the EU family, with the approval by member states of the Next Generation Europe, an ambitious program to relaunch investment on jobs and growth, particularly in those already fragile EU economies that are severely affected by the pandemics. The same solidarity led also to the EU assistance to our Western Balkans partners. In Kosovo, the quick mobilization of 5 million of funds for medical equipment and supplies at the pandemic outbreaks was followed by the development of macro-financial assistance program with the ceiling of up to 100 million euro. Support of Kosovo's public finances, youth employment, and good governance, with a special focus on the fight against corruption and organized crime. An EU-funded budget support of 26 million euros was launched in December. It co-finances the government's economic recovery package to mitigate the impact on job losses and help relaunch businesses. In these days, when vaccines are gradually being made available, the EU is mobilizing all its means to ensure access by Western Balkan partners to COVID-19 vaccines. The EU program we launched today, EU for Social Protection, is financially the largest of its type in the field of social protection in Kosovo, providing 11.8 million euro altogether. The program targets a population of 200,000 citizens and comprises an emergency support scheme to address the basic needs of 8,000 families living in poverty, including those belonging to minority groups or not officially registered. It equally provides resources for public social services, shelters for children and women, and centers to assist families and individuals, ensuring that the most fragile ones will not be left behind in these difficult moments. NGOs providing social and rehabilitation services will receive support through grant-making schemes and capacity building. The program will also contribute to implement the institutional reforms of social services, including its sustainable financing, governance, and quality standards. Let me point out that in the wake of this crisis, addressing social inequalities in Kosovo must be a priority on the political agenda after elections, and that serious institutional efforts are necessary to tackle poverty through equitable social assistance policies. I would like to thank our partners, UNDP, IOM, and Save the Children, as well as the Ministry of Social Welfare, for the intense cooperation during the preparation of this program and commitment to successfully implement this important endeavor. To conclude, by focusing on those who are socially excluded, marginalized, and fragile, this program reaffirms the role of international solidarity in maintaining social cohesion during our most critical moments. We are happy to be able to help where help is most needed. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ambassador Szunyog. I would now like to invite Mr. Mentor Morina, Director of Department for Social Policies and Family at the Ministry of Labor and Social Welfare, which will have a key role in implementing this program.
Thank you. Your Excellency, Mr. Ambassador Szunyog, Head of the EU Office in Kosovo, Honorable Representatives, partner organizations from UNDP, Save the Children, IOM, and other representatives from EU Office part of this virtual meeting. Today, I am honored to participate on behalf of the Ministry of Labor and Social Welfare in this very important virtual meeting organized by the EU Office, where the cooperation with implementing partners and the beginning of the implementation of a program that will provide emergency support to the most vulnerable groups and strengthen the social protection system in Kosovo is being concretized. The Ministry of Labor and Social Welfare is committed and devoted that in cooperation with partner and international financial organizations to develop social policy and sustainable social protection system that will directly affect poverty reduction, improve family well-being, and the social inclusion of the vulnerable groups. We are aware that the pandemic COVID-19, similarly to the other countries, has hit our country economy and has affected to increase the unemployment number, the loss of income for many families, and has aggravated the well-being of many households in Kosovo. Therefore, the support provided in the amount of about 12 million euros from this program that is started to be implemented today and will continue until 2023 will enable the assistance that will provide it to many families and people in need with different packages such as food, hygiene, coverage of utility costs, as well as for direct social and family services for children and women in all municipalities of Republic of Kosovo. In addition to the support that this program will provide toward licensing NGO that provides social and family services and the support with technical assistance as planned for capacity building of central and local level institutions will enable the expansion of the provision of social services as well as the implementation of reform initiated by Ministry of Labor and Social Welfare in the field of social and family services. Finally, allow me, on behalf of the Ministry of Labor and Social Welfare, to thank the EU Office and the European Commission for the support it has provided and continue to provide it to the citizens and institutions of the Republic of Kosovo. We are and we will remain forever grateful. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Morina. Now I would invite Ms. Maria Suoko, UNDP resident representative for Kosovo and one of our 3 implementing partners for this program.
Thank you. Ambassador Tomáš Szunyog, Director Mentor Morina, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, it's a great pleasure for me to be here today, and I would also like to wish you happy. We have all witnessed how the pandemic caused by a little virus has turned into a complex crisis, disrupting lives all over the world, causing uncertainty, tensions, and hitting the hardest those that are already struggling to cope. we're seeing inequalities growing. The two socioeconomic impact assessments conducted by UNDP in cooperation with UN Women and UNFPA provide a snapshot on how the pandemic has affected Kosovo and its population. We have seen that 11% of respondents had lost their jobs by November 2020, which is an increase from May when it was 8%. Most of those who had lost their jobs did not receive financial support or unemployment benefits. We've also seen that 43% of respondents reported a decrease in income. Women and girls have been particularly affected by the pandemic. Significant share of the respondents had lost their jobs, while women's unpaid care work at home had increased. The growth in the incidence of gender-based violence is deeply worrying. UN Kosovo team's socio-economic response plan was formulated in the spring to ensure a coherent and effective UN response in consultation with partners such as the EU, providing social protection and basic services for the most vulnerable groups. It's an integral part of the plan, alongside with sustainable green recovery. Leaving no one behind is our guiding principle. We have a unique opportunity now with EU support to provide some relief to those in most vulnerable situations, regardless of their ethnicity or urban-rural divide. I would like to extend our heartfelt thanks to the entire EU Kosovo office team for trusting UNDP to deliver this support. The action aims to improve access to integrated social protection for those that need it the most. That we will be working with the Ministry of Labor and Social Welfare and the Centers of Social Welfare to enhance the targeting and delivery of the support. We will also help train a new generation of social workers jointly with UN volunteers. Mobile clinics will be established to improve access to those hardest to reach. Direct support to women and girls is an integral part of this action, and we will be engaging UN Women as our partner. This humanitarian response has been designed and will be implemented in partnership with the Ministry of Labor and Social Welfare, and we look forward to further strengthening our excellent cooperation. We have also coordinated closely with IOM, our UN sister agency, and Save the Children in designing our respective interventions. The complementarity of these actions will maximize the impact. Our joint efforts under the generous support from the EU will give hope to those that are faced with particularly challenging circumstances. We can get through this crisis by working together. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Swoko. Now, please, Mr. Ahmet Kryeziu, Director of Save the Children for Kosovo. The floor is yours. Is Mr. Kryeziu with us? Please, if you can unmute your microphone, Mr. Kryeziu.
Good morning to everyone. Dear Ambassador Tomáš Szunyog, dear Mr. Morina, Director of the Department for Social Policy and Family, dear colleagues from UNDP and IOM, ladies and gentlemen, it is a great honor for me to be here today at the launch event of for the EU for Social Protection Program. Please allow me to state the obvious. This program and the significant funding provided by the European Union through this program is much needed and very, very welcome for Kosovo. This program, and specifically the component which will be implemented by Save the Children, will provide licensed non-governmental organizations who are providers of social services in Kosovo with funding to continue to provide crucial social services to everyone who needs them. This includes, but is not limited to, children and adults with disabilities, vulnerable people in need, the elderly, and victims of domestic violence and trafficking. Our intervention will also work to raise the public awareness of the services offered and will work with beneficiaries, municipalities, the Ministry of Labor and Social Welfare, and other relevant partners to inform everyone of the types of services offered, where to access them, and who can benefit from them. We will work also to inform the public, especially in rural and remote areas, that seeking support when you need is a value that should be cherished rather than ignored. Finally, we will work with Ministry of Labor and Social Welfare, with NGOs providing services and other public bodies to support the reform process to finalize and adopt the new law on social and family services, the new financing formula for social services. We will also support the ministry to revalidate and update current minimum standards for social services, to train hundreds of social workers and increase their capacities, and in a number of other policy and regulatory changes in line with concept document for social services adopted by the government of Kosovo. In conclusion, I would like to thank the European Union for their support of this sector and for their continued investments in social protection and social services in Kosovo. I would like also to thank the Ministry of Labor and Social Welfare for their cooperation and support, as well as partners from UNDP and IOM, with whom we will closely coordinate our interventions now and in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Krueziu. And finally, our third implementing partner, Ms. Anna Rostocka, Chief of Mission for the International Organization for Migration in Kosovo.
Good morning, everybody. Dear Ambassador, distinguished audience online, ladies, gentlemen, partners, and colleagues, I'm very proud to be here today. The impact of the COVID-19 pandemic are falling disproportionately on the most vulnerable. People living in poverty, facing social and economic exclusion, unable to provide for themselves and their families. Let me then express our appreciation and thanks to the European Union and the EU office in Pristina for their generous contribution and partnership, which will enable us to assist the most vulnerable of vulnerable population, whose social and economic situation was already very fragile before and further exacerbated by the pandemic, and who in consequence face even bigger difficulties in meeting their basic needs and require support to be able to do so. IOM intervention will consist of expanding the existing and well-established community stabilization program, which is in itself an ambitious effort to improve the socio-economic circumstances of vulnerable non-majority groups, including ethnic Serbs, members of Kosovo's Roma, Ashkali, and Egyptian communities, but also Turkish, Gorani, Bosniak, and Croat community, and Albanian community living in the north. Additional activities will respond adequately to their diverse, immediate, but also intermediate and longer-term needs, improving their resilience and supporting whole community recovery. In order to address the immediate, essential needs, the most vulnerable families will receive food and non-food packages delivered in coordination with municipal centers for social work and UNDP, and Save the Children, to ensure adequate assistance reaches all non-majority community members in need and synergies between efforts undertaken by all of us, by all partners, are found strengthening our joint impact. Small family businesses that are very often the only source of income for the families and therefore need special attention will obtain post-crisis revitalization support to allow them to continue their functioning and provide for their families. As Maria said, we are all guided by a principle of leaving no one behind. Therefore, a quota, 50% quota, will be introduced for projects and businesses targeting women, youth, beneficiaries living in remote areas, and part of Roma, Ashkali, and Egyptian communities. To support building community-led resilience and response, social inclusion initiatives will be implemented in all Kosovo municipalities, and community projects will be supported to address the needs emerging during the COVID-19 pandemic for the benefit of all communities living in Roma areas. IOM looks forward to working closely with the EU Office, UNDP, Save the Children, and also Ministry of Labour and Social Affairs to achieve best possible results and provide most solid and effective support. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Rostocka. We will now proceed with the signature of the first contract. It's a €5 million contract with the UNDP titled Response to COVID-19 Emergency and Early Recovery Support that will be implemented over the course of 2 years. And I would invite Ambassador Szunyog and Ms. Suoko to sign the contract and then also to show it to our audience. Thank you, Ambassador. Ms. Suoko, our next contract is with Save the Children in the amount of €4 million. It's titled Strengthening Social Service Provision for the Most Vulnerable Groups in Kosovo in Response of COVID-19. And finally, the contract with the IOM in the value of €2.46 million called Extension of Community Stabilization Program, which will be implemented over the course of the next 31 months. Thank you, Ambassador. Thank you all. I should just mention that this program also contains €400,000 fund for local civil society organizations that will also support the cause of this program. Thank you all very much. With this, we conclude today's event.